Hello, this is Fatima from Easy Automation Labs, and this is our second class of QA. Today, I will be discussing where we left off in the last class. So, we basically discussed about how the basics, mainly all the basics that how everything works in QA, how the QA industry works, and I gave an example with a pen. I gave the example using a story. So today we will be focusing on moving our pen example to the softwares. We will be gradually moving our discussions to software because we have used the pen example for better understanding, because there will be a lot of people who won't understand if I go straight jump into the functional discussion. So that's why I have used the examples. So um, in last class, I finished the class while discussing a filtering system where each stage have described how everything works in the company from first stage to last stage. So if I recall, the first stage, if you can remember, the first stage was this one. So yeah, the first stage was our dev environment. So I will be discussing this because that's where we're gonna be moving on to our softwares. I mean our discussion. We will be starting with this part, dev environment. So as we can see that here's it has three parts: devs, I mean the developers, and the testers and status. In our last class, while I was discussing everything, how everything is made, who created what document, who gave out the documents to whom, but I did not mention anything about the timing. I did a little, you know, I mentioned the quarter release about that, which will be 4 month one release or 3 month in one release. So but in this part, in our dev environment, I will be discussing how each part of the product will be created in how much time. All right, so we will be starting from here. We can see that here's the cap of our pen. You can see the cap here. So it's written that dev creates dev creates the cap according to user story 1. It took the developer 1 week. All right, so if we remember our user story, the user story one was regarding the cap, only the cap. It will be transparent, and we also wrote down our test cases and test steps as well. So this is the developers, the developers team will take 1 week to create this cap, okay? And another thing here, if you look into this part, the cap is made of plastic. All right, so it is made of only one thing, which is that we can see plastic, and it is transparent. No other additional metals or anything else is used here, and no other colors as well. It is only a cap, and it is used. It is made of plastic. So I can. I'm going to write something here, as it is only one cap, which ha- which was made of only plastic, and so this will be, it has, this cap has one module. Okay, this cap has one module, and the developer took 1 week to create it using the user story 1. All right, and now you can see second part here. Dev prepared the body user story 2. All right, so in our user story, you can see the user story 2. It was discussed in the user story 2 that that body will be created. You know, another thing is, it's important here. It's not only the body. If we look closely, this part contains two things. First will be the body, and the second thing will be the ink pot inside the body which will hold the ink. Okay, and the third will be the label of the pen body, which is important, which was also in our test cases. Okay. All right. So Dev prepared the body uses from user story two. Okay. So Dev integrated the body with the cap. He checks if it is fitting properly. Dev took 10 days this time. All right. So another thing here. Here it took him 1 week, but it in here to create the body it took him 10 days. But he not only created the body, he also integrated the cap, and then he checked if it is fitting properly. All right. So all right, as it has only one module, now we're going to be writing down how many modules does this part have. So first will be, it has three modules. Three modules. Why? One will be body, second will be ink, third is the label. Okay, three modules. It has three modules, and now there's something else that I'm going to mention, which is the, who is the guardian of whom. Like if ink is the guardian of the body part, if this module is the parent of the body, or if this is the parent of this part. All right. So as it has three modules, I'm going to write down who is parent module and who is child module. So first will be our ink. Ink will be our parent module, and body also will be our parent module. Okay. And lastly, our label. Label will be the child module. I hope it is making sense why label is the child module. It's on the body of the pen. All right. Okay, so it has three modules, and Dev integrated the body with the cap. He checks if it is fitting properly. Dev took 10 days this time. Here's a lot. I'm going to discuss something else after I'm done with this part. Okay. And here, it has only one module because Dev prepared the ballpoint pen. Here we will have one module. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's go up, up, and up. We will be talking about our testers now. So QA tested the cap, and it took total 1 week to test it. Okay. After the dev took it 1 week to create the cap, tester took also 1 week to test it. After that, dev prepared the body from user story 2, which took him 10 days. But here, it for this part, the tester has tested the body part and cap as well. QA tested the cap again. He checked after integrate if everything is fine. But tester mainly focused on body part only. Alright. Why? Because he already, in the first stage, he already tested the cap. And now he's going to be focusing only the body part. So it took the tester 4 days. And here we can see that it took the dev 10 days and tester took 4 days, which time total needed 2 weeks. And in the first stage also, we can see it took both for both of them, it took 2 weeks, and here it also, for both of them, it took 2 weeks. And now for the last part, to created the pen, sorry, the ballpoint pen, and he integrated as well. After creating the ballpoint pen, he integrated ballpoint pen with previously built body with the cap together. It took him 8 days for Dev to build it, and now the testers will test all the parts again. All right. The testers will mainly focus on ballpoint because in the last two stages he already tested this part. In this short time he will test ballpoint pin perfectly. For cap and body they will test important test cases only. It took him 6 days to build it. Alright, so it took, for the ballpoint part, Dev took 8 days and testers took 6 days, which has, total 2 weeks. Now you can, I hope you notice something, that each stage has took 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and 2 weeks. Alright, so these are called sprint. Sprint. Why? Because for each stage, for both of them, it took 2 weeks. All right. Okay. So now let's discuss something else here. After the ballpoint has been created, then what did he do? What did the dev do? What he did was, after Dev prepared the ballpoint pen, Dev integrated ballpoint pen with previously built body and cap together. So you might ask me, he created this part, and after that he integrated, he matched with the rest of the body, this part, and then he's not going to send it out to tester without even looking for it, right? I make something for someone, I will first look at it, then I will not test it, I will just check if it's all right, if it's fitting properly. All right. Which is called integrating. So he looked for it, and then after that he gave it to the tester. So he created this and he integrated this. So he looked for it if it's fitting properly. This part is called unit testing. Who does the unit testing? Only the dev does the unit testing. Before handing it out to the tester, he did this part, and after giving it to the testers, let's say here, all right, let's move on to our second stage. First he created the cap, transparent cap. Suppose this is unit testing. And then he gave it to the tester. He gave it to the tester for the first time. Tester will test it for the first time. This cap, now it will be called component testing. Okay. If the part is tested for the first time, which is called component testing, and then in here, after Dev integrated the body with the cap, okay, Dev integrated the body with the cap, he checks if it is fitting properly. After checking, he give it out to testers. Now Q has tested the body part and cap as well, but QA now will only focus on the body part. Why? Because he already tested the cap, but he will, check it again, but he will mainly focus on the body part. So this is called, after integrating, after matching the product, matching the parts. So he's now gonna, test again. So in this part, this is called integration testing. All right. Integration testing. Okay. And after that, now the tester will test all the parts again. When, after creating the ballpoint pen, Dev integrated all the parts with previous parts, and then Dev will hand it out to the tester. He already done the integration testing, and now he's going to do. Now tester will test all parts again, but tester will mainly focus on ballpoint because he recently got it. In this short time, he will test ballpoint pen perfectly and for cap and body, they will test important test cases only because they have already tested twice. And now you may ask me the last part that they have tested. This is called regression testing. Regression testing. Why it is called regression testing? Because the product was tested thrice. Not only thrice, it was tested fourth time: unit, then component, and then integration, and then regression testing. Okay? So this pen is perfectly ready for now for going to next environment. What do you mean by next environment? Our dev environment has finished, and now we will be moving on to our um, SIT. I hope you remember after our dev environment stage, our second stage will be SIT environment. So this is our SIT environment after we are done with our dev environment. Now I will be discussing what happens here mainly. All right, so dev SIT, system integration testing environment. Okay. Um, I have mentioned sprint here, which means, let me go back to it again. Each stage took 2 weeks. First stage, second stage, and third stage. All the three stages took through 2 weeks, and total 6 weeks of sprint. Okay, 6 weeks. The whole part took 6 weeks, and now for our SIT environment, we won't be calculating our timing here with no sprint. Okay, we won't no sprint in this SIT system integration testing. But suppose the business owner gave you, 4 month for each product. As I said, 1 quarter release in it will be in 4 months. So he gave you 4 month for this product, and sorry, 4 month you have already you have already done with here, your dev environment. I mean, all the making process took you 2 month, and you have left 2 month. In this 2 month, you not only have to finish the SIT environment, you have also UAT, and then you have also pre-production, and then you have production environment, and then you have the maintenance environment. You have to complete all these stages in 2 months. Okay, so here, all right, so we focus on this part. The full product is integrated. Why it is integrated? It means it is completely matched. The dev environment has sent it out to this SIT environment for further testing. What did I mean by further testing? The time here will be limited for SIT environment, as we have 2 months for all the left stage. And in SIT, the testers will be testing only the major part of the product. They will be testing only the major part of the product because it has been already tested so many times in the dev environment. So they will be focusing mainly on the um, major parts. Okay, and what is going to do the testers while testing those products? Another thing which is important to memorize is A tester's main focus will be finding out uh, defects or bugs. What did I mean by defects? Suppose, let's go back there. Developers created this cap in 1 week using the user story one, and after that, he gave it out to the testers to test it. But while testing the cap, he found out some defect and some bugs. So he cannot, in status, he cannot fill it out that it is done. If he found some sort of defects in the product, I mean in the part, they will have to redo all of the things that they have done together. I have already mentioned this in our last class, so I won't be discussing it more because defects and bugs, if he find any sort of bugs, it will be again, all the user story will be written again. They will try to find what is the defect, where it is making the defect, and they will make the product once again and they will test it again. All right, so the tester's main job will be to find defects as much as they can, because if they cannot find the defects in this SIT environment, suppose a team of testers were not able to find, you know, a defect. Suppose this is a bug. They were not able to find this bug. So what are they going to do? After this environment is done, the product will be handed out to the UAT, user acceptance testing. So the business people, I hope you remember, UAT means the business people environment. They will be hiring another testing team to test out the product. Okay, so in the next environment, if the new testers find this bug, then who's going to be held responsible? The whole team of the testers will be held responsible because they did not focus much that they needed to, and they did not find the bug. So testers need to be more careful and they need to find as much bugs as they can, because this is their main job. This will be their main job, to find the bugs as much as they can. After they are done with the defect part, we will now move on to our test cases. As I said, making this product, there was a lot of test cases written. Suppose for this product, how many test cases? Suppose there were 1,000 test cases were written, and they only have, you can see, testers will, oh, there's another thing I forgot to mention, which is our dev environment, in our third step, the testers tested it for so many times, and the last part was regression testing. But after coming to the SIT environment, the testers will test it again. So what is it called? Now it is called full regression testing. Okay, that this testing can take more than 30 days of time, because we cannot give it alone only the 2 months, because we have other environments to handle too. There is no 2 weeks of sprint present here, as I said, because sprints are only for dev team. All right, so test cases, 1,000 test cases, we have to run it in 1 month, but it will be much difficult to run 1,000 test cases. It depends on the product, how many test cases will there be. It could be 500 to 1,500. It depends on the product. Suppose this product took 1,000 test cases, so who's gonna run this? Who will be doing the programming part? We both know who's going to be doing the programming part. Our automation testers. Testers will run test cases. Okay, they will run the test cases because they will handle the automation part. Okay, and after running this product, will program the test cases. Then the product is ready to go to the next environment. What is next environment? Okay, so our next environment is UAT environment, which is user acceptance testing. What do I mean by user acceptance testing? We all know that user acceptance testing is by user, I meant the business people. And here we can see we have other terms for this UAT part, PAT and CAT. PAT means production acceptance testing environment, and CAT, client acceptance testing, because the project will be tested. Who's going to test? The business people or the client, all right, or the user. Okay, so in this part, what's happened, they will hire a new, testers to test out the product. Okay, so once they're done with this part, the when the product is ready for SIT testing, the project will go to UAT testing phase. Okay, the user acceptance testing will be done with the presence of business people. As we have built their product, they will test whether we have built the right product or not. Sometimes we do the testing, they just observe everything. Okay, they just observe everything. They not only observe, they will hire a new team to test this product, because they do not have the technical knowledge of it, so definitely they don't know if anything is missing out. Okay. Okay. So now we will slowly move our discussion to softwares, because till now we were discussing, I discussed everything using an example of a pen and its usage and how it will be created through various examples. And now I'm going to slowly move on to our software discussion. All right? Okay. So I hope you remember that the first, um, give me a minute. The first requirement we received, it was CRS, which was provided by the business people. And after analyzing it, the product owner made some user stories, and in short, he made a product backlog, and after that, he gave the product backlog to the business analyst. All right. Okay. So after he gave it to the business analyst, the business analyst did what? He created some BRS, you know, BRS. For each user story, he created the BRS, each user story. Okay, so there was, I hope you remember, there was 4 user stories. And if I say all of these, we can there's another term that you need to learn is BRD, which is, business requirement specification for BRS and business requirement document for BRD, because we are going to be moving on to the our both of these are same, and in BRD, in BRS there's each user story, and in BRD there will be 2 more things that will be added, and now I'm going to be talking about them. All right. Okay, so our BRD. All right, so this is our BRD. Okay, BRD, and it has 2 parts. One is called SRS, and another thing is called FR FRD. Okay. One is called SRS and another thing is called FRD. Now, do not get confused because these extra two parts are added in our business requirement documents document. And what else is there in our business requirement document? There's we have our user stories, and along we have two extra these two topics, and I'm going to be discussing what these are. All right. Okay, so now SRS. What is SRS? SRS stands for System Requirement Specification, and FRD. Another thing which is you must know is FRS. FRS and FRD, both of these things are same, but we are going to be discussing about the FRD. We will use this term. This stands for Functional Requirement Specification. All right. And now let's talk about our FRD. What is Functional Requirement Specification? Okay, so for FRD, we will go to our one of our one of our product backlog that was created by the BRS that was created by one of our business analysts. Let's see here. In this part, user story 1, you can see that it says, as a user, I want to use a pen with a transparent cap. Okay, so that I can see the color of the pen easily. And scenario number one, user can see the ink color through the transparent cap. And acceptance criteria, the cap should be strong enough so that it doesn't break easily. We will focus on this scenario part. In scenario 1, it says that user can see the ink color through the transparent cap. Now, I can question here, why transparent cap, right? Why transparent cap? And another thing is the pen has color in the body. Another question will be like, why colored body? And another question could be like, yeah, all right. For this scenario, I could find these two questions, and I could question it. Why transparent cap? This is a functionality of this BRS. All right. These are all functional things in our BRS. Everything you see, everything in the scenario, everything in the user story, everything here is called functional requirements. All right. This is, of course, this is called a BRS, but inside the BRS, this is our FRD. Okay. Why FRD? Because FRD alone can be for the whole product. For the whole, okay, let me write it here. BRS and now FRD. Okay. FRD will be for the whole product. What was our whole product? The pen was our whole product. This is our whole product, and in FRD, everything functional requirements, all the functional requirements will be written in these documents regarding the product. The pages will be much for these documents because it will include all the functionality of the product. And I hope you understand what functionality is. Everything in this scenario, everything written here in Gherkin format also is functional. All right. Okay, now we will discuss what is SRS. Okay. SRS. Okay. What it includes a lot of things. In SRS, we not only talk about the system requirement specification. In SRS, what we talk about is FRD, the functional things. I mean, it will have functional parts or functionality. All right? Functional parts or functionality, whole product. Okay? Whole product. And second part will be, all right. So I'm going to be talking about our functional things. Let's write down some functional things inside our SRS. Okay? I'm not discussing about the FRD. Now I'm talking about our system requirement specifications and what are the functionality of our product. First, we can write. Sorry, people can write. These are the functionality of our product. And second will be cap will be there to protect the ballpoint. And now in this point, you know, the cap not only protects the ballpoint and it has other uses as well because it's going to be transparent. Okay, and now third part will be, and here we can put a question, why thin ball point? Why thin ball point? This is a functionality. Why? What is the functionality of thin ball point? I hope in this point we all know why we are using thin part in this pen because we have already studied its benefits and its usage as well. All right, so in SRS there are two parts. First is functional and another will be second non-functional. Okay, what is non-functional thing? Non-functional means it has nothing to do with the product. It has nothing to do with the product. All right, why? Because when a product is created or when a product is produced in the company, after it has been successfully created, in which states it will gonna be delivered or in which country? Which country will it be delivered? Or how many slots will be delivered. Things like this. All right? Things like this. Or which model will go to this country or this country. It depends. This is completely non-functional, which is also is a part of our SRS. Okay. And another thing we have to keep in mind is that our technical requirements as well. All right. Technical requirement is here in BRS, but it is I haven't wrote it down because this is not our concern, as this is for the developers and we will be the testers. So, but still, let me discuss it here. TRS. TRS, technical requirement specification. For technical requirement specification, I hope you all know what is it. Okay, so who's gonna made it? We all know who's gonna create this technical requirement specification. BA creates this technical requirement specification for the um, developers. Sorry, for the architects and developers as well, because architects will gonna be studied through, and after that he is gonna hand it over to the developers. All right. So how will the it is basically for building, like chemicals. What chemicals will be used while making this product, and what temperature. Okay, these are the things that inside the technical requirement specification. This is not our concern. This will be for the developers. All right. Okay. Um, I hope we got a little bit of idea on the new terms SRS and FRD. Okay, and now I'm going to show you where it stays and how it will stay in our BRD. Okay, now I'm going to write something. Okay. Sorry. Whatever, it's not. Let's just draw a smaller one. Okay, we will call this confluence. Confluence. What is confluence? We will discuss in our next classes. All right, so suppose this is a menu of the product or the software that we're going to make. This is kind of a manual, okay, and how everything will be created. And, okay, so suppose this is a menu. Okay, now we will drop something here. Sorry. Why isn't it straight? Put some boxes here. So first one will be our BRD, business requirement document. Okay, and then we will have our test strategy. What is this? We will discuss later in our next classes. And we will have our build version. What's this? We will also discuss it later. Okay. All right. So now, suppose this is a software menu, and for BRD, if we click on our BRD, what's gonna happen? We know what what does the business requirement documentation holds? It holds our user stories, product backlog, and our the BRS that has been created using the user story, and also the new two parts that we just created, I just discussed, the SRNs and FRD. All right. Okay. So suppose I clicked on here, then this will appear, our user stories. User stories. Okay. Suppose these are our BRSs. All right. Because if I say that this is the user stories, these are not user stories, this will be BRS, because BRS has been created using the user story. If I click on this, suppose this is number 1 BRS. If I click on this, then what's gonna happen here? It's too big, let me shorten it out. If I click on this, on BRS number 1 that has been created using the user story 1, this will appear. For each BRS, the following BRS will be popped up. It's like a website, all right? It's like a website, and if, while you click on it, one by one will open for the BRS. And now in BRD, there's one more thing that I just discussed right now. One will be SRS, and another will be FRD. We now understand what SRS and what FRD is. Okay, I'm not writing down the TRS because that's not necessary. I'm not writing it down. All right, so we are done in this part, and now we will slowly move on to our software parts. All right. All right. So first question will be in our software discussion is, what is software? Okay. All right. Let's zoom it out here. uh, Before going into our answer of what is software, first let's go back to our pen, and I hope you remember it has how many parts and how many modules. First, it had a cap, and for the cap part, it only had one module. All right, and for its body, it had, the ink part inside of the body, and the color of the body, and the label here. So it has 3 modules. And here in the point, in this ballpoint, it has 2 modules. So now if I ask you, what is a pen? What is a pen? You can easily answer that A pen is a collection of multiple modules that helps us to perform a task. What task we can write with it. All right. So, what is a pen? I'm not writing it down. I'm just saying that a pen is a collection of modules. Different modules are a collection of modules that helps us perform a task. A pen helps us write, helps us to write, and yes, we can write with a pen. So, if I say now what is a software, then what will our answer be? All right. As we were discussing the whole part, the software part using a pen, so now for a software, what is a software? What is a software? Software, okay? Suppose in this OneNote that I am performing my task in this OneNote, this is a software, all right? So in this software, you can see a lot of buttons here, a lot of you know, programs. These are called programs. If I click here in this, then it will automatically become a shape. Sorry. Now it will automatically become a shape because I have clicked on this program, and if I, there's so many programs in our OneNote software. So for answering this question, I will simply write down a software is a collection, just like the pen is a collection of computer programs, computer programs, sorry, that helps us to perform. OneNote software is helping me to perform my class. So yeah, to perform a task. So this is the answer of what is a software. All right. And now there are a lots of software. There are different types of software. They might be different, and we might get their access using different. Okay. Let me just say types of softwares. Types of software. So for our first one, it will be, um, let's say, device drivers. I'm going to explain it to you what is device drivers and other things, operating systems, team, system, and utility servers, etc. All right. All right. So what is device drivers? Well, device drivers is we have our USB cables, and when we put them, when we connect them with our the PC or our laptop, and then our, you know, it reacts to it like, hey, this is connecting now, then your file is now being transported or whatever the hell. This is called device drivers. So what is device drivers? Device drivers is we connect our USB cables to our PC, our laptops, and it automatically shows us notification that it is connected now. You can share or transport or we can do everything with them. Our LAN cable, our mouse cable, everything is connected to our desktop or laptop. So these are device drivers. And operating system. Operating system is, we suppose this PC, I have uh, downloaded, my setup is Windows 11, and some people use Linux and some people have Mac as well. So those are the operating systems. And we have I am using servers are here as well. And there's one more thing I forgot to write. It will be utilities. Utilities. Utilities is, you can see at the bottom of my screen here, I have sound, I have Wi-Fi, my sound and microphone and other tasks as well. So these are the utilities, all right? And now let's move on to our second part, which is um, to system software. Just to remind you, we don't have to do anything with them. We have no business. We have no business here. It's just to get in mind and what these do, but we don't have anything to do with them. We're not going to be learning anything from this. All right. So programming softwares. Um, Programming software. What is programming softwares? Okay, so you have heard about different programming languages such as C, C++, sorry, C, C++, and there's Java, Python. Now you may ask me, where do we learn this? I mean, where do we practice this? For this, we have different compilers, all right? Compilers. So for things about the programming languages is, we have a software for programming. We do some coding and we then run the programming code, and then we get a result from our code. All right. So those softwares are called compilers. There's also debuggers as well. We will learn all of this in our next classes. Now, these are programming software. And for our last part, it will be application softwares. What is application softwares? In this desktop, I'm using OneNote from my desktop. So this is our uh, desktop application. Sorry, desktop application, and there's web application, and there's mobile applications. Desktop applications, let's give an example for using Facebook. Facebook, all right? If I use it, if I download this application in my desktop, then after downloading this application in after downloading this software in my desktop, this is called a desktop application, or I can download this in my phone as well. All right, so this is mobile application. And if I want to use these softwares using different web applications, such as if I go to Google, or if I go to here, okay, so these are our web applications. And when I go there, and if I put www.facebook.com or www.instagram.com, then that will become web applications. All right, so there are three types of applications for the same software. All right, I can use the software using three applications. All right, and now we know what is software and its um, branches as well. Now we will learn what is software testing. Okay, what is software testing? All right, so as I said many times, making a product, there's a lot of process happens from making the CRS to the last step to reach its last step, which is called maintenance. There's a lot of process happens, and one of the important part is uh, software sorry testing. Architect designs a product, and then developers creates the product, and after that the testers do the testing part, which is most important. All right, which is most important. So software test is part of software development process. All right, so now I'm going to be teaching you what is software development process. So this might be new, I haven't mentioned it yet. So this is called SDLC. SDLC stands for, wait a minute. So software development life cycle. And let me just go through what is this soft SDLC thing is. You will be shocked to know that we have already covered this part. Okay, how did we cover this part? Okay, let me just tell you in brief. So first was our requirement analysis. All right, let me write it here. Sorry. Requirement analysis. All right, and then we have requirement analysis. What is requirement analysis? Just um, you know, business people gave a CRS to the product owner, remember? And product owner created a BRS. Remember that? BRS. And then before handing it out to the architect, there's a lot of things happen here, such as he creates the user story, user story, and then there's project backlog. All right, so in this step, only in this step, there's all about requirement phase. So this is called requirement analysis. All right, and then we have our sorry we have our after our requirement analysis, we have design. then we have design. Who does the design? Architect. Okay. And after that, we have our development process. Development. After that, we have our testers. And then here comes our maintenance. Maintenance. So in previous class and also in today's class, I have already discussed everything. So this cycle is called SDLC, Software Development Life Cycle. All right. And now let's go back to our question. What was it? It was software testing. What is software testing? So in this part, a lot of testing happens. All right. So that is what software testing is. And another thing about software testing is to detect and identify the defects in the software. All right. Identify the defects and bugs. Let me write it here. Um, Software testing is an activity to detect a bug or defects in the software. Okay. So this is what our software testing is for. It's mainly used for to find out the defects. Okay. All right. So we know now another thing we have to know here is what is the objective of SDLC? What is the objective uh, for this part? Objective. Objective. The objective of testing is to release a quality product to the client. You ordered something to a company, so you hope for the best, that it comes out in your hand as its best version, right? So the objective will be to release quality product to the client. Okay. And now let's talk about our qualities here. Um, what is quality? Quality is defined as justification of all the requirements of a customer in a product. Quality is defined as justification of all the requirements of a customer in a product. Justification of all the requirements. What is the requirement? The first requirement that we have received from BA. Sorry, not BA. It was our business people. Business people who gave us a CRS. All right? CRS. So he gave us a CRS, and when do we find out we make a product, and when do we find out that this product is qualityful? When we know that, we understand that the CRS, the customer's CRS, has justified very much, has defined its justification. All right, then we know that The CRS has been 100% followed, and now it is qualityful. Yes. Okay. Now, how do we know? This is the part that we know that is after justify the CRS, we know that this is qualityful. But there's some other thing that to keep in mind, that if in order to make a qualityful product, first have to it has to be the software has to be bug free. Second will be um, it is delivered delivered on time. Third will be, let me just write everything and then I will discuss it within budget. And number 4 is requirements, meets requirements. 5 is maintainable. Okay, so let's go for the bug-free part. I have discussed many times how it can be bug-free. Software testers will do the testing part and they will make sure it is 100% bug-free. Okay, 100% bug-free. I'm not discussing anything about bugs or defects. Delivered on time. Suppose you have ordered something, some address for yourself, which you expect that it will arrive in 1 week, but instead it took 2 months. Now, even though you like the dress, you like the product, will you be satisfied when it comes? You won't, because it is not delivered, wasn't delivered on time. So software has to be delivered on time in order to protect its quality. And our third part will be within budget. It has to be in budget. Suppose sorry, product owner has been given um, 100K for a software, but after 2 months he says, I'm going to be needing another 100K to the business people. Now, business people will think bad of him because he did not fix everything at first, and now after in the middle of the work process he says he needs 100K more. Then this won't be a qualityful software, or everything will be messed up. And then meets requirements. By requirements, which I said, everything that the requirement in everything that was in the requirement that the business people gave to the whole team, and everything was fulfilled. So that's what it when it happened. It will be a qualityful product when it meets the requirements, and it's maintainable. By maintainable, I say it has to be within the person of that you have been hired, that have been hired in the company. Like you have hired 5 testers, and you made a team, but the amount of test cases and other things, and the amount of codes that have been written for the software, you're going to be needing 15 softwares. All right, so that's not how it works. The product or the software has to be Okay, so as I was saying, the software has to be maintainable within the budget and everything else. So yeah, that's how you make a qualityful software. Now we will move on to our next part, which is product versus project. I hope we all know what is product and what is project. Product, project. Product. We know what is user and what is end user. We also know what is client. All right. So the project, let me break it down. The project is a product or a software is on the process. All right. Project is, sorry, a project is before reaching to the to the end user. Before reaching to the end user or the customer. All right. And on process, I mean, everything is still being worked on. Mhm. On the market. And the product is after the mm, after landing the product in the market, after they have been benefited by the product, the end user, of course, it will be end user who's going to be using them. Us, people like us, we use softwares all the time. But once the software has to be created by by a team, and it was a project. But after it was done, then it is now a product. Let's say, what is a product? Facebook and say Amazon. Okay, this is a product. We are the end user and we use them. Okay, now we know what is a product and what is a project. And now there's another thing is to keep in mind that why do we need testing? Why do we need testing? We need testing because because for a lot of reasons. I have already mentioned them. We need testing because in order to make sure the software is bug free, and uh, also we need testing because we have to ensure that the system meets customer requirements and software specifications as well. All right, so we need testing to ensure the system meets end user expectations. What is end user? We are the end user. We are going to be using the software, and we know our expectations. It is written in. It will be written in the CRS, and uh, fixing the bugs identified after releasing is more expensive. Okay, what is this? Now we will discuss it. Error, bug, and failure. There's three terms that we need to keep in mind. Okay, here. Let me write it here. Uh, Error, bug, and failure. Okay, what is error? Let's start by error. No, let's start by yeah, let's start by error. You are trying to open login, sorry, you are trying to log in your Facebook account, and then it asks you for your email and your password. Okay, so you have put xyz at gmail.com and your password is 123 blah blah blah. But instead, you put, instead of z, you put, suppose you put a. It might be a typing mistake, or you might forgot. Then the system will show you what? Error. Okay, system will show you error. This is not the software's fault, but it was something while you were putting down your credentials. Okay, now we will discuss what is bug. Bug, we all know what is bug is, but let's clear it here. Bug is, so you have put your email and your password as well, but even though you have put the right, correct credentials, it still says that it's not it's loading, it's in loading phase, or it's not responding. The software or the page says it's not responding, then it is surely a bug, which is the software's fault, not yours. Okay, so when did this occur? After an end user tried to log in into his Facebook, then he found a bug, and then we call it failure. What failure? Because after launching a software, after reaching to the end user, and the product wasn't, or the software wasn't tested properly, then are if we face some bugs or defects on the software, then it is called failure for the software who created the softwares. All right, and now we know what is all three terms. Okay, now we will be discussing why the software has bugs normally. Why the software has bugs normally. Why the software has bugs normally. Alright, so there are a few points to be noted. So first one will be miscommunication or no communication. And now you might ask me, what is miscommunication between whom or what? So miscommunication or no communication will be while creating the product, the team will be held responsible for this. Suppose, as I mentioned in SDLC, there will be a whole development team, and okay, let me just go back to our SDLC part here. Suppose while creating the design, the architects didn't communicate with the developers or the BA or the project manager who hired them. So surely there will be problems after launching the product, or there will be problem while testers are gonna testing the product. So this will be the miscommunication. If they are not communicating well enough with themselves, then that might be a problem for the testers. And our second part will be software complexity. Software complexity. Uh, Software complexity meaning a software has multiple programs, as I mentioned. Suppose this is our OneNote software. I'm using this OneNote, and in top or in bottom, you can see there's many programs here, many buttons here, which has different functionality of its own. But and suppose it was created by a team, just like the SDLC, as I said. They followed the same rule. They created this software, and now it is working properly. But suppose a team creates a software, but it hasn't met its requirements enough, or it faced some difficulties while creating that software. So that will be our software complexity. Like any of the team member or any of the team has created have made some mistakes for that, it will be our software complexity. And now next part will be programming errors. We all know what programming is. As I mentioned, there's Java, Python, and we where do we practice them? We practice them in compilers. In compilers such as Eclipse, we have NetBeans, so we practice them in compilers. So this basically this happens. This will be your code, and that is where you will run your code. And suppose while writing down the code, let me tell you one thing: programming is really critical to write down perfectly, because if you don't know a single part of the code that you're going to write down, then it will show error. This is such a sensitive topic, and that's why it's going to be easy while we will be learning about it. But if you do not mm, get a vast knowledge about coding and programming, then your code will not run perfectly. It will always show error. And our fourth part will be changing requirements. Changing requirements mean at first business people give a CRS to the product owner, and product owner has already started working on them. After reaching to next process, like the product has already started, been the developers has already started to make the product, and in the meantime the business people comes and say, hey, I need to add some new things, or I want to customize, or I want to make some changes in my in my product. So then that will create a problem between the teams, because they have already started working on the products. All right, so that might require, that will be some sort of bugs, we can say. And our five item number 5 will be lack of skilled testers. Lack of skilled testers. Yes, this is a really important case. If you are not a good tester, you cannot give out your best in a company. And obviously there will be the product that you're gonna make will be with lots of defects and bugs. Okay. We are done with our in this part. Why do bugs appear in software testing? And because of these reasons, bugs may appear. Now, I've also discussed the SDLC process as well. Now I'm gonna be discussing something else. So this is completely new. Okay, so let's do a recap from first. Okay, okay, so here. What happens at first? Business people give out the CRS to product owner, right? And then product owner hires BA and project manager, right? Project manager hires um, developer team, org, and then we have our testers. Okay, and let's go back to business analyst. So, product owner makes some uh, user stories. You remember? User stories, and using that user story, he creates the um, B or S for each user story. All right. And now in this BRS, there will be, as I mentioned, SRS, FRS, FRD. I'm not mentioning them here. So what's gonna happen now? We have discussed that after the BRS is finalized, he will give out to architect, and architect will make a design, and then he will hand it out to developers, and then it will go to the testers. But here's few things happen before going to the development team. In this requirement analysis, there's a critical, not critical, there will be a lot of process are still has to be made. So I'm going to be discussing them after making one BRS. There are, as we learned, there were how many BRSs? Four BRS. Okay, for each BRSs. And after creating this, there will be a session which is called pre-refinement, and another person is hired by the product owner. His name will be Scrum Master, and another person, D, sorry, oh, sorry, uh, B, A. All right, this is called database analyst. Yeah. And now, what does Scrum Master do? Scrum Master, from requirement analysis to, not that one, the whole SDLC process and all the meetings, all the meetings, scheduling, date fixing between the whole team. Scrum Master does all these parts, okay? All right. He also sends out the emails to different persons about their meetings and other documentations as well. Okay, now let's go back to our BRS. Okay. For one user story, there will be one BRS. Okay. User story 1. Now let's say user story 1 is ready. User story 1 is ready, and he will tell product owner, let's say user story 1 is ready. Now he will tell whom? He will tell to he will only tell it to product owner. First he will tell it to product owner after making the first BRS, and then he will hand it out to him, and then he will inform the product manager as well. Why product manager? Because he's the one who hired him. He basically is the manager who handles the entire department. Oh, sorry. Project manager didn't hire him. Product owner hired him. But his job is to inform him as well. So they will have a walkthrough meeting. A walkthrough meeting regarding BRS1. Okay, and then they will discuss okay, what happens in the in the meeting. They will confirm, project owner and project manager, they will confirm that BRS or user story is perfect. Now remember, this is for user story 1. All right. And now after that business analyst, what's he's gonna do? He will inform scrum master to arrange a meeting. So this meeting is called pre-refinement session. Business analyst tell the scrum master to arrange a pre-refinement session. only for the user story 1 BRS1. Okay, and now Scrum Master will email, let's say, who he's gonna email. He will email the uh, development team, and there will be, give me a moment. Okay, developers, architects, and testers. Okay, and yeah, there will be product owner and project manager will be there, but business people won't be there in that pre-refinement session. Okay, business people won't be there. Two, okay, so they will this pre-refinement session is for user story 1. Okay, all right. Now, as I mentioned, in this meeting, all of the people will be there. They will be present in that session, except the business people. And what happens in that meeting? Okay, let's write it down here. Sorry. This is pre-refinement session 1. All right. Pre-refinement session 1, and they will discuss, mainly this meeting will be about, all of them will provide their opinion. Okay, so what did I mean by all of them will provide their opinion? So suppose the business analyst makes a BRS, and then after that he created the BRS, business requirement specification. So suppose the development team has a problem with a certain requirement, that he cannot do this and he cannot do this also. There will be timing as well. So development says, hey, you wrote this requirement in this way, but we cannot, and my team cannot do this in this time slot, or they do not have the ability to make this in your requirement. And also the testers may say that, hey, I don't like the way you created this, and I cannot test it if you make it this way. If your BRS is gonna be in this way, I cannot give out my testing skills in this requirement, in this business requirement. So all of them will be giving their opinion. And if that happens, after that, suppose they have to change something, they have to change the BRS, they will do that. But if everything is all right, and if everyone agree with the BRS, then the BRS becomes the BRS becomes perfect. Sorry, not perfect. Becomes smart, SMART. And there's yeah, it becomes smart. And then after that, Yeah, after they have modified the BRS, after they have given their opinion and it has become now a perfect BRS, so now what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen, let me tell you. After 1 to 2 week, sorry, after 2 week, 2 week, this is the phase, this is their review phase, okay? This is their review phase. So in this review phase, all of the team will discuss, say for say dev will, okay, understand. Yeah, it is for the upper, suppose product owner or yeah, product owner will give them 2 weeks time, so the whole team can understand how much time. So let me write it here. They will understand how uh, how long it will take and what tools are needed. All right, and then yeah. Oh, in the meantime, I forgot to say that our architecture will start their design. Arc design. Yeah. And then they will understand how long will it take and how also the testers will do so. So in between these 2 weeks, there will be daily calls. They will call each other daily. This is called daily stand-up calls. This will be between the whole team, okay? Just to get in touch with the whole situation. Testers will do so. And then after the whole team has finalized their time, they have, suppose they have finalized dev developers have finalized, it will take 7 days. And then DBA database administrator, he will it will for him it will take 9 days, and for the testers they will take 5 days. All right. Yeah, so sorry, I am wrong here. It in here it will be 2 days. Okay, 2 days, and so in short, they will all of them will it will take them 14 days or 2 weeks. Okay, so they have after they have finalized their time and their tools as well, there will be the refinement session. Okay, after they have finalized their times and tools, there will be the refinement session. All right, now we will start our refinement session. Refinement session. Okay. What is refinement session? Refinement session is in this meeting, everyone will be there. Everyone will be present. Okay, and in this meeting the team will the team will announce their timing. So in here, the thing that they have decided something together, the timing and everything, and the tools and their ideas how they're gonna be working on. This is called effort estimation. All right. This is called effort estimation, and they will provide into they will be reveal this thing, their timing and effort estimation in this refinement session. In here, business people will also be present. All right. Okay. All right. So now here comes the our development part, because another thing is to mention that I have 2 days. We have already learned that 2 weeks means uh, one sprint. Remember, one sprint. 2 weeks for one sprint, and 2 weeks means 14 days, and 14 days mean 14 points. In IT language, people use days in points. People call days points. It's normal for in the industry. So suppose for 1 point, one working day hour, which will be 8 hour. Okay. And now, after 2 to 3 days after their meeting, after 2 to 3 days later, sprint planning. There will be sprint planning session will start. Sprint planning. All right, so let's say sprint planning from give me a moment. Sprint planning means it has now the for user story 1, user story 1 for sprint planning 1. Okay, suppose user sprint planning means the development process. I mean the development phase. After our analysis phase, now it comes the development phase. So development sprint planning will be started from January 1. No, not January 1. It will be from January, suppose from January 10 to 24. This is for sprint planning 1. All right. So now you may ask, if we keep working on for each user stories, it will take us a year to complete the whole product. So that's not how it's gonna be. It's not how it will work. So suppose they took 14 days for pre-refinement session where they will do everything, you know. And then after they are done with their first pre-refinement session for user story 1, and immediately after 2 to 3 days they have done their sprint planning 1, you know, I meant the development process, development process. It will take them this much time for to create the product, and then we have sprint planning 2, sprint planning 3, sprint planning 4, because we have 4 user stories, remember? Okay, so as soon as they have started working on this thing from January 10, so suppose their work starts from 9 to 5, all right? 9 to 5, okay, so all of the team has to work from 9 to say 12. They will spend this much time on their pre-refinement session nong 2. They will be working on pre-refinement session for sprint planning 1, but alongside they will also get with a, you know, meeting, will be on the meeting and the plannings as well, just like the pre-refinement session 1, they will be now pre-refinement session 2. And then after in this 24 they are, this product, you know, this part is complete, done, all right, say it's done, but by 24 this pre-refinement session will be done. And then suppose from 24 to, you know, say 36, yeah, this will much take time, and from this day they will start their session 3, and then this will keep going until they are done with this whole product, you know, from user story 1, user story 2, user story 3, user story 4. They will not just sit there one by to complete one by one. They will be doing everything alongside while they are making. They will be attending meetings as well, all right? They will be attending meeting as well while making the product, while making a specific part of the product, okay? That's how it's going to be happening fast, because the product owner gave us, you know, 3 months. They have to complete the whole process in 3 months, you remember? And then after that we come our maintenance, and then we have our maintenance, and then have our production as well. Maintenance and then production, okay? So I hope you understood this last part that I just discussed about the pre-refinement session and refinement session, how it happens. Just in short, pre-refinement means they will be planning, and in refinement session there will be sprint planning. I mean, in this sprint planning they will start creating each part of the product, I mean each part of the software, because we will be working on softwares, not products. And then they will start on a specific user story, and also they will start working on the pre-refinement session for the next user story, okay? So that they just don't leave the other user stories for later, that because they will be not having much time. So I hope you understood all this part, because I have mentioned everything and all the necessary parts as well. And from first to last I also discussed it 2 to 3 times. So the next class will be about, it will be much about our software testing, and I will be discussing more about the softwares, because we are gradually moving on to our software discussion. All right.